Hello there, precious channel. What we're going to be doing today on this fine Saturday here in Northeast Philadelphia is going to be doing the first alpha test for Tap, Nap, or Snap. This is a game that I started thinking about probably, I don't know, about 6 months ago. Um, For those who follow the streams here, you might know I practice jujitsu. I'm currently a purple belt in jujitsu. And I had this idea for a card game based on that because there's a lot of strategy involved with the sport. So I thought, how would this translate to being a game? So what this is going to be today is the very first full playthrough of an alpha test of the game here. And we're going to see how this works. And I'm sure none of it is going to work properly, but that's sort of the point of this. So what I did is I wrote some instructions down, and you'll have to forgive me if during the actual chat itself, or actually during the stream itself, you see me or see me taking a few extra minutes here. Reason for that is I'm going to be taking notes on the game as we play. I'm keeping a change log, so that way I can make sure I'm keeping track of how the game plays, what the issues are. From what I've been reading, so this is the first time started to develop anyways, a game prior to this, and maybe I'll break that one out eventually. But for the moment, hang on, I'm just bringing up my log sheet here. But I was not doing, I wasn't keeping a change log on that, so I'm not really sure how everything worked from iteration to iteration. So we're going to be trying to do this a little bit differently. So what I did, though, is I wrote my instructions here, and we're going to see how I did here. So here we have the two game mats. There's going to be a time tracker. I don't have a time tracker right now, so I'm just going to be keeping track. The game is supposed to last 10 rounds or up until the point where someone gets tapped out. Exhaustion markers. All right, so that's one of the mechanics of the game is that there's going to be you can get exhausted during the game. So I'm going to tap into my thing here. We'll use these as the exhaustion markers. The colors for the exhaustion markers mean nothing. So we'll do that. All right. We're going to put one more on the mats here to keep track of points. Right now we all have 0 points, so we're not going to worry about that. And we'll do one for the belts. We're both going to start at white belt here. All right. So I'm sure I have to add that into the instructions as well. All right. So each player should get one defense and one escape card. Okay, so we're going to do a defense submission, one for each player. This is my super totally not ghetto game deck of labels on index cards. So we've got that. So we've got the defense submission and one escape card. All right, so I got to find some escape cards. Oh, here's one and here's one. Okay, so here's the escape cards. We'll get into what all of this means on the card as we get into it. One of each position card. So we're going to have butterfly guard, one of each. And these are cards that don't get thrown out. These cards will always be available to the players. Here, I'll do this so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So there's that. Side control, side control. You know, I'm actually going to take out, I think, De La Hiva, because I don't think I have anything where that's going to be used yet. So I'm going to pull them actually out right now. Lasso, lasso guard, 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 mount, and mount. And originally I thought these would just be shuffled into the deck. Alright, I'm missing one. Hang on, folks. Let me make sure I didn't. Butterfly, half guard. See, here we are. Not even starting, and there's already issues. So we'll have to figure that out. Half guard, butterfly, guard, lasso, side. Okay, so I am missing a card already. Awesome. Well, if it turns up, it turns up, but I need to make a note here of that. So missing one back card. Okay, so anyway, these are cards that originally I was going to shuffle into the deck, but I realized they're too important to not have them available to both players at all times. Have some root beer there. All right, now we have ability cards. Okay, so the ability cards, as the name suggests, confer different abilities to the player and change the gameplay. So this one is the endless cardio, means you don't get penalties from exhaustion. This one's the Dirty Frank. I think I'm going to use that. If applying a choke from rear or mount, your opponent's first attempt at defending it fails. So we're going to have player one over here use the Dirty Frank. We have one that's called the Ninja Mike. You're silent, have double jointed elbows and arms. Your opponent's first arm or shoulder submission attempt always fails. So that actually leads me to think now. We have to add the type of submission to the cards. So that way you understand what that is. Steel Grips gives you +1 on all submission cards. Iron Church gives you +1 to defending submissions. The Internet Warrior can play cards one level above their current belt level with a -1 penalty, and they can't go below 0. So I'm going to take the Dirty Frank, and I'm going to take the Ninja Mike. And just these are actually loosely based on people that I actually train with. So hang on while I make this note. So player one ability, they're going to do Dirty Frank. And the player two ability is going to be Ninja Mike. All right, and the time that we're actually going to start this, we'll put down as 3:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. All right, so we did that. Okay, now we got to shuffle the deck. Let's see how well this works. Let's see how well this shuffles. Not good at all. Awesome. But I need this to be broken up because there's a lot of cards that are going to be stacked or the same cards will be stacked, and we don't want that. We want there to be pretty good randomization in here. Let's cut the deck. Come on. I should just do a wash in the middle of the table, but I don't have that much space. Shuffle these up here. I really hope this is going to be shuffled well enough. I don't want there to be a whole bunch of cards stacked. All right, so we got this. Each player is going to get 3 more cards. So we're going to put player 2 over here. Player 1. Player 2. Player 1. Player 2. Player 1. Player 2. Okay. So we're going to come to player 2's cards in just a second. We're going to put them over here. We're going to start here with player 1's cards. And I know this is upside down for you folks, and I'll try to explain this as best I can. Okay, so Whitefire, hey, How you doing? So the premise of the game, yeah, it is a TCG style game. It's based on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So the goal of the game is to chain cards together and play enough in a hand where your opponent um, can no longer defend the submission. Um, or you go 10 rounds and have the most points. The idea is that you'd love to get the submission ahead of time. Um, so yeah, this is the first. Actually, the first stream was more or less me just screwing around with Photoshop and adding, kind of talking out some of the moves here. So this is gonna be the first actual playthrough, if it is in fact able to be played through. So I have some actions I can take here. We're not going to deal with the checkmate mechanic right now. That's actually a mechanic I think will work well later once the rest of the game is working better because it's more or less conferring bonuses. So I've got a few options here. I can, if I had any points, I could purchase stripes to build my belt levels, which will then unlock other ends of the card. Yeah, I don't, White. I don't think. I'm sure I've seen something similar to it. I'm not going to say that I'm coming up with something brand new because there's pretty much, you know, only a few different mechanics in the way they're applied. But I think that, yeah, I haven't seen anything with martial arts and jiu-jitsu in this way, treating it as a strategy game. Not just, hey, can I accumulate enough points and beat the crap out of someone? So I'm hoping that it works. And this is what we will find out. So anyway, I can use my points if I had any to buy stripes. I don't have any points right now, so I'm not going to be able to buy any stripes and build my rank. But that's something I'm going to want to do throughout the game, so where these numbers here will start making a bigger difference. So, yeah, me either, White. So I'm kind of shooting from the hip here. I'm basing some of the stuff on what I've watched on Will Wheaton's tabletop game, and just sort of making the rest up as I go. And we'll see how it goes. So that's one option, but obviously I'm not going to be able to buy any stripes there. I can place trap cards. So what I could do is, and I will completely admit, I am absolutely ripping this off of Yu-Gi-Oh, where I could place cards face down as a trap, and should you play the card that triggers the trap, then that boom sets that off, and I get some bonus moves basically. But I'm looking here. So I have the defend and escape cards. I don't need to play them just yet because obviously I'm sorry. Because I am starting, the game is going to start in guard. We'll put that card, and that means that this guy, and guard, I'm hoping that I can eventually get some art on these cards that will make a little bit more sense to people. So guard is the position in jiu-jitsu when you're on your back and you've got your legs wrapped around their hips in a completely non-biblical way. And it's actually an offensive position. It looks like, oh, this guy's on the ground, he's got his back on the ground, this is bad. But if you watch a lot of jiu-jitsu matches, or if you watch UFC 1, that's where Royce Gracie was, and that's how he wins, because that's actually a position of offense in the game here. So I have guard, they're in guard. You see I could flip these cards around as I go, so they're on defense. All right, so there's a few things I can do here. I've got a choke, and I can play that from guard. If I play this is a submission card here, and you can see I've got, well, maybe not. I could play it from guard, I could play it from the back. I have to be a blue belt to play this from side control, and I have to be a purple belt to play this from mount, which are the different positions I can be in. So for right now, I'm limited to playing that just here. I've got my sweep card in... Okay, good. Then, White, you and I can have an intelligent conversation about this. So actually I have a friend of mine that I train with, and he's actually a professional fighter. He is fighting on March 17th down in Hollywood, Florida, and he's fighting one of the winners from The Ultimate Fighter. I forget the guy's name at the moment. The thought being is that this will be his 7th fight, his 8th fight. He's undefeated, and if he wins this, he'll probably be assigned to the UFC. So we're all rooting for him to do that. So okay, so we have. I could play a choke, which is a submission. I could play the sweep card, which is if I have somebody in my guard, in one of my guards, I can then move to it's how I advance out of guard and into other positions at this point. So I've got that. And I've got my pass/advance position card here. Now here, I wouldn't be able to play this here in mount, or excuse me, in guard. But once I get, if I were in guard, I would play this so I could pass the guard and move on. Or if I'm inside control or one of the other positions, this is the card I would want to play in order to move ahead here. So I'm looking at this. One of my actions can be is I can turn in cards and draw new ones. So I want to keep choke. I want to keep. So here, okay, this is where the strategy comes in. I could play the choke card right now. And that would actually, because right now, at first turn, there's not going to be a lot I can do. I'm pretty much just going to play cards. I might trade some in if I don't like what I have. But I like all of these cards. So my options here is I could play the choke card and go for the submission right away, which they could defend. I could play the sweep card and then move into side control, which would then mean they have to get out of my side control before and get to an offensive position. I don't want to get rid of this because I'm eventually going to need that. So, and I don't have to play all my cards every round. So, and I don't know what he has yet. I'm doing that. I mean, obviously, as the game goes on, I'm going to know what both players have here. But I'm going to try doing something a little bit different here. So I think, let's see. So if I play choke, he's going to play defend. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a trap now. So I'm going to chain together defend and sweep. So defend will be the trigger card, right? So we'll put that face down here. And then the reaction is going to be a sweep. Because I'm still in guard, I'll be able to sweep them, and that'll advance my position. So I'm going to put that right there as my trap. And if I wanted, I could end my turn right here, but I'm not going to. I am going to go for the choke because I want to try to score points here as well. So, yeah, okay, so the buying for belt levels, right now, and I'm sure the point levels will change. As I play here, I'm going to be able to I'm going to score points in a round. You need 4 stripes to move up into the next belt. So my thought is 1 point per stripe, and then once I get those 4 points, I train them in, boom, that's my promotion. I move up to blue belt. I can go from there. We'll have to see if that's the right economic model or if I need to change that as well. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I place my trap. I can't buy anything because I can't buy rank, so because I don't have any points. I don't really want to trade any cards in, so now I'm going to play my 1 card here. I'm going to play my choke card. All right, so now the way this works is that player 2, this is player 1, player 2, so actually let me make my notes here. Hang on, so we set trap, defend, and sweep, played choke. All right. So now they get a rebuttal. They can rebut right away before I score my points from my turn. So let's take a look at what player 2 has here. So this is player 1. We're going to put them aside here. Player 2, of course, has the escape position and defend, because it makes sense you have that right from the get-go. Otherwise, the game, if you don't draw it right away, the game is over in the first turn, and that's not really fun. And here I have, okay, I got some good stuff here. So I've got 2 submissions. I've got a cutting arm, and I've got a kimura. I've got a sweep and I got a sweep card. So what I would need to do here is right now I would just need to defend the submission. So I'm going to play defend, right? And because I'm a white belt, I have 1 point for defend. Because player 1 is a white belt, they've got 1 point for the submission. The defense beats the submission. These are now discarded. So I defeat the choke, right? If as we get higher in levels, that'll change. But I still have guard. So because I have guard, I score a point. Boom, right there. All right. So now it is player 2's turn. Now, again, I can have some actions here. I don't have any points, so I can't buy rank. I could set a trap if I wanted, but I've got to look at this and say, in order for me to set the trap, I've got to escape. I've got to advance my position right now, and I can't. I don't have the cards in order to advance the position. So we're going to see if that actually. And I scored 1 point. So defend, choke. All right. So I could draw a card. That would be an action. Now, if at the end of my turn, if I've played all of my cards that I have in my hand, I automatically, at the end of my turn, draw. Oh, you know what? Oh, ooh, hang on. This is me being stupid. All right. So choke. We're going to back up here. So defend. So I play the defend submission, right? That was the trap, right? Because that's the card that triggers defend submission. So that triggers it, and now I move on to sweep. So defend submission, that's fine. You defended the submission. These cards, this still defends that. Boom. Okay, because we didn't get the choke. But I swept. Or how do we want to do this? Okay, now this is where I'm coming into a question. Does that discard that? No, I think I'm still going to score points off of that. So choke to my defend gets rid of his defend. So he doesn't do that. Sweep. And that then puts me in side control. I now have side control on. And I'm going to have a mat that goes in the middle that actually has the flow of where the positions go to. I know I need to add that. I just couldn't get it to work quite right. So now I'm in side control. So that round I actually scored 3 points. So we're going to move this up. I have 3 points now. Okay. So sweep, but now I'm in side control. And these now get discarded because they've already been played. And that means that player 2 is now no longer in guard. They are now inside control on defense. And again, you can see how the cards are oriented for defense and offense facing each other here. I thought about turning it to the side, again, going that Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic kind of way, but I'm also toyed around having two-sided cards where you just flip them upside down. Okay, so here we are. I now have 3 points. Defend, choke, trap. All right, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm absolutely going to draw a card. And because I need to escape, so I can escape to having guard. And well, let me draw a card. So I'm going to draw a card here. Okay, so if I were inside control, I could use that. So I am going to escape the position, and then I'm going to hit a sweep off. And put myself into side control. right? So we'll play those two cards because again, there's really not a lot I can do this first round. So I'm going to play my two cards here, escape position and sweep. So I'm going to escape to the guard. And as I progress, there's other places where, based on where I am, I'll be able to move to other positions. Okay, so question, are you going to have positions be coordinated like that? Would it not be easier to have a single shared position card? Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. So one card, instead of everybody having two, one in the middle, and you just flip it depending on who has what. I like that. That makes a lot more sense. And that's fewer cards. I wonder if even I could set up almost like a wheel. So that mat that's in the middle that has the flow. That'd be really interesting. I got to think about that. Cool. Thank you for the suggestion. I like it. So, okay, so anyway, we're back to this. Player 2 now has played escape position and sweep. So let me make a note of that. Escape position and sweep. And as player 1, and these are I don't want that, I want this. I have nothing that I can play to rebut that. I can't escape, I can't escape the position, and there's nothing for me to pass or advance. I'll be able to pass when I get to my turn, but there's nothing. So, knowing that, 2 points. I get 2 points for my turn here. And playing the cards will always end the turn. I feel like that's got to be the way that the turn ends. All right. So, those are discarded. All right, now we're back to player 1's turn here. Now we're on round 2, and they got 2 points. Let me make a note of that. Okay, so now I've only got 2 cards, so I want to use one of my turns to draw. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so good. I got I got 2 defend cards. Okay, so that's good. So I drew my cards. That's action number 1. I'm obviously going to have to pass. No, that's right. We're back. I escaped back to guard. You see, I'm going to do what you just said there, and I'm actually we're going to do this right now. So now guard, we're going to change that mid-game here. So guard offense, guard defense. Okay, so in guard. Okay. So now, in guard, so I need to pass. So we know that's going to be 1. That'll put me in side control. And then from side control, I'll play yeah, I'll play the Americana card. We're going to leave the rest of these here. And I'm just taking ahead a step here because I'm realizing there's no defend cards. So I'm thinking that the submission has to last until the end of the next person's turn. So I'm going to make a note of that. Sub must last till end. Defending player's turn. So that way, because otherwise we'd be done in the second round, and that doesn't really seem like a lot of fun. That could happen too often. So I want to have player 2 to have the option to turn cards in, to draw, to do all that. Okay, so I did that. I'm now going to turn in my 3 points and get 3 stripes. And for the moment, I'm going to use these guys as my stripes. So we got 1, 2, 3 stripes. I need 1 more stripe. So I need 1 more point, and I'll be able to go there. So, all right, so I'm going to play my pass. I'm going to pass the guard and play the Americana card, which is going to be the submission card there. So we're not in guard anymore. We're in side control. Yeah, I think that wheel on the mat's going to work a lot better, White. I think you nailed that. That'll make this a lot easier just to reposition around and constantly bring a new card out. So okay, so now there. So now it would be player two's rebuttal. Actually, let me make the notes here. I got to remember to do this. This is the hard part. So we did pass, side control, Arcana. Oh, and before we did that, we buy 3 stripes. No, there's not an action point system. The way I'm working it right now is that you can do up to 3 actions per turn, and the actions can be draw or discard up to the maximum number of cards in your hand. And as you progress in rank, you get more cards that you can hold. You can place your trap cards, you can buy stripes, and you can play cards. Playing the cards will always be what ends the turn. So my thought is, out of the 4 actions, you have 3 different things you could potentially do. Now you have to think a little bit more strategically, rather than this is just my thought right now. Rather than doing everything every single turn, now you have to think a little bit more strategically. All right, is it more important this time that I get cards, or is it more important that I advance in rank? As I go on, it might be that, hey, you do everything every round. It might be that the rules I have just aren't going to work that well. So, but I just realized something here. We get to use one of the ability cards. Because the Ninja Mike ability is that your opponent's first arm/shoulder submission attempt always fails. So that means that even though I played the card, nothing happens. Okay, because if you have the Ninja Mike ability, that means that you've got double jointed elbows and shoulders. And this is based on an actual person that used to train with us. His name is Mike. We called him Ninja Mike because he was silent all the time. Really nice kid, but super, super painfully shy. And I swear this guy was like Ragdoll from DC Comics, where I could have him in shoulder locks where I had his left wrist behind his back up at his right ear, and he would not tap out, and he wasn't in pain. So, all right, so that eliminates that card. I played that card. Maybe in the future I'll pay more attention and not play that card. But that means that there's nothing that this person can do at this point. They can't, the most they could do is escape. There's no escape card. So there's nothing I could do right now as a rebuttal. So that means that player 1 scores a point, and we are now in side control. So we're going to come over now here to player 2. Already I'm wondering if having a larger hand to start might be the way to go. Let me make a note of this here. So, nope, that's not what I wanted. And Kana. We got 1 point here. All right, so now we're on 2. I have thought about the action point system. Someone brought that up in the Discord, in the Shadow Council Discord, and I thought about that. I don't know. I want to see how this works before I move over to action points. I want to see this pretty much at its most stripped down possible way before I start adding more in. I figure it's easier for me to add things in and tweak the system than it is for me to have a very complicated system and then try to tweak it. So anyways, player 2, they're going to spend 2 points here, and they're going to buy 2 stripes. Okay. And they're going to draw cards. Player 2 will now draw 2 cards. I should make a note that draw 1 2. So we're going to buy 2 stripes, draw 2 cards, draw 2. All right, so now I have to get out of Yeah, I was thinking with that stamina. Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. We're actually getting a chance to play something with the mechanic that I thought would work into this. Excuse me. Right now, which is the exhaustion system here, and so I'm in side control. I don't have a card that allows me to escape. I don't have an escape position card here. So, under ordinary circumstances, I would just be stuck here, right? But that doesn't really seem fair because now this basically is a wasted turn. I score no points. Player 1 can then go on and score more points. And then just the momentum is just completely shifted. So what I can do is, in lieu of not having my escape card, okay, I can exert an exhaustion point. That basically translates to muscling out of a position, which is something you can do in real life. Doesn't always work. Technique beats muscle. But, you know, there's guys that are bigger than me that can start muscling their way around and at least make some advancement, but eventually it catches up to them. I was telling my wife, actually, today I was rolling with a guy. He just started a month ago, and he's a big guy. He's got to weigh around 250, and he was rolling with another one of our big guys, who's a blue belt. And then he got done. He points to me, he goes, "Well, I'm going to roll with him next because I think I can handle him." You know, just because, you know, big guy versus small guy. And the blue belt looked at me and he said, "There's no way in the world that you can handle him." And he tried muscling some things, but then he learned that technique beats strength. Anywho, so I'm going to expend that, and that's going to allow me to escape back to the guard position, wherever I put that card. Here we go. I need to keep all this in one place. So now I'm going to be on offense. I'll be able to expend that to change that up. And now I can look about playing my cards. So I did that. Now I'm in the guard. I am going to see in guard. What can I do here? I don't have any sweeps, so I can't advance my position that way. Hang on, I'm going to move this so you can actually maybe see this on the edge of the camera. I know it's kind of tough to see. I wish I had that completely overhead camera view, but alas, I do not. All right, so from here, I could play the Kimura. I cannot play the cutting arm because I'm not a blue belt yet. You can see white belts can't play that. Now, if I had one of the abilities that could let me play that, and I could play it at a level 1. I can't pass or advance. I could play the arm bar. And I could play the triangle choke. Now, if I had one other card here, there's actually a trifecta move I can do off of that. That makes it that much harder to defend. So what I am going to do, though, so that way I can try to score some points here, is I'm going to play the Kimura card. So I could play this here. So I'm going to try to go for a submission. Now, so we drew the 2, we bought stripes, and we played exhaustion point to guard, and we played Kimura. And so now the rebuttal. I'm going to defend the submission here. So by defending the submission, that gets rid of this. This now cancels out. They go in the discard pile. So I still get my point, though, because I'm on offense. So we come back and get a point here. All right. And, come back. We're going to get 1 point. All right, now we're going to say display the defend. All right, now we're back to here. We're in round 3 now. I'm going to spend my point. That would get me my 4th stripe, which immediately gets traded in and advances to blue. So now I am a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. If only it were that easy. But I'm in guard, so I need to pass. But I don't have a pass card right now. I've got escape, I've got defense. So I've got to draw. So we said, okay, so we bought one stripe, blue belt. So now I'm going to draw 3. No, excuse me, I'm going to draw 4 because as a blue belt, I get to hold more cards. Basically saying that my knowledge has increased, so I'm able to hold more. Okay. So there's really not a lot I can do here. For me to do anything, I need to escape the guard position. I cannot escape the guard position because I don't have a pass card. So I could either just let it go, which to me doesn't do very well because I don't get any points for that, or I can expend one of my exhaustion points to pass the guard. So we're going to do that. We're going to pass the guard, which now puts me into side control in offense. I'll move this over here. Oh, never mind. What am I doing? I'm trying to keep all my stuff in one place here, and it's... Okay, so we're in side control. Offense. Yeah, White, I really think that was the right idea with doing that. That's going to make things... But I think the wheel in the middle is going to make this better, so that way we can just sort of move pieces around. Anywho, so now I am on offense, side control, and I've got something in my head. I don't know what it is. For as I'm moving around, can I prevent them from moving? If my defense is good enough, I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about that one. So now that I'm in side control. Okay, I am a blue belt, so I can play my armbar from here. So, but, okay, but knowing his ability here, if I play that armbar, it's just going to get thrown out. So I'm not going to play that armbar now. I'm going to be smart this time. I think I'm just going to let my cards stand, and I'm just going to say, okay, side control, and I'm going to hold my position. Now, what I also want to do is put a mechanic in that, maybe I'll do that right now. So we're going to add the add stalling. So I'm not going to get any points because I haven't done anything. I already advanced. Nothing's really changed. Or no, I'm going to get my 1 point because I moved to side control. I passed the guard, so I get my 1 point. But because I didn't play any cards, because I didn't either apply a submission or try to advance my position, I'm going to take 1 stalling warning. I'm just going to put that over here for right now. I have to add that to the game mat. Because in a jiu-jitsu match, if you stall, basically you get into a dominant position or any position, and you just hold on and don't let the person move, and you don't try to do anything. It's called stalling. You basically get 1 or 2 warnings, and then they start deducting points because you're not actively trying to do anything. That's what we'll do here. So I'm not going to, because I didn't play an advance card, because I didn't try to do a submission, I'll take I'll take that 1 warning. My feeling is by doing that, I'm going to prevent someone from just sitting there and building up the perfect hand and laying it out, and boom. I want there to be penalties for that. So now there's no need there because I didn't play any cards. There's no rebuttal. So no cards played. Oh no, I draw 3 cards. Okay, but I scored 1 point. All right, so now we're back to player 2. There's no need for a rebuttal. Okay, so we're going to draw 1 card, obviously, to get ourselves back up. So now I've got escape position. That's good. All right. And I'm going to cash my point in and buy another stripe here. Okay. Now, if I want to escape, their side control is 2. My side control defense is 1. my escape if I play the escape card. Um, yeah, so if by starting to not have a chance to do something in that space, the way I look at it is that because I take the stall warning, player 2 doesn't have to burn any cards to defend the submission or prevent the sweep or do anything like that. So because they didn't have to do that, they actually walk into the round with a healthier hand. They can, that's sort of how I feel about it right now. I don't know if it should be a free move. Again, maybe after the first playthrough, maybe that would make sense. So, all right, so I've got the escape. So I need to escape. And I would probably have to spend another exhaustion point. And I have a mechanic back for getting my exhaustion points back, and I forget what that is. But I know it's not moving. Actually, let me look that up real quick. I have my notes here. Exhaustion. Yeah, it seems fair now. until it doesn't. Until someone figures out a way to break that mechanic. I can gain 1 exhaustion point back by playing a hold position. I say I don't have any hold position cards as the so I don't have that. Okay, if I advance a belt level, that gets me my exhaustion point back. So that makes me wonder now. I did play an exhaustion point, didn't I? To escape. Yeah, that's right. I did do that. Exhaustion to advance position. Okay. So, all right. So because I spent the exhaustion point after I advanced in belt, I don't get this back. So, now, okay. So I need to escape the position. We know that. And that's going to put me back into guard. And I'm going to go ahead and play that cutting arm. I want to hold on to this triangle and arm bar because I'm hoping I get a card that I can do something with here. So I'm going to escape the position. Back to guard. And I'm playing the cutting arm. So as a rebuttal, I got to see, do I have any defense? I do have a defense submission card. So now I'm seeing something with the traps here. 1, I haven't been thinking about it, but 2, you need to have the trigger card in there. So, I'll have to think about that. But anyway, so playing the defense submission, that gets rid of the cutting arm card. But I still get 2 points for that. 2 points for that round. All right. So we are back now. So we did, what did we play there? We bought 1 stripe, drew cards, and we escape cutting arm. We scored 2 points because they played the defend. So now, can a trap be any card that just gets played into a trap as a ready to action of sorts, or are there specific cards that have a trap property? That's a really good question. So it sounds like, all right, if I wanted to play it, could every card have its own trap property that if I place it as a trap, this is what triggers it? I like the idea of the ready to action, but there would need to be a way to define when you're going to trigger that, because if the other player doesn't play into that trap. So I'll give you an example. So a real life example is if you're starting standing up in jiu-jitsu, something that I might do is I might have my front leg and leave my front leg out there a little bit more um, so that way my opponent will dive in for it, trying to go for a single leg takedown. I will then, because I know that the second they go for that, I'm actually setting up for a choke, for a guillotine choke. But if they never go for my leg, I can't go for that choke. So I think there does need to be a trigger. So another example would be um, if I have somebody in my half guard. Again, we're going to real life here. If I have someone in my half guard, there is a submission called the electric chair, where basically I force my opponent uh, into a full split. And one way that I've set that up is I'll leave my one arm hanging way, way out so that they either attack it, which leaves them off balance and allows me to set up the submission, or they try to pin it down with their leg, which is the worst thing they could possibly do because that's exactly where I need their leg. But if they never do that, I can't, pull off that submission that way. I'll have to work for it a different way. So I'm wondering if, does that leave us with, should it be that all the submissions have like a trap property? I like that. That might be something. So I'm going to make a note of that. So trap. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely a thought. Part of me thinks that I want to have it on the table because you are making that part of your strategy, and the other side of this could be that if I see it's on the table, I'm now going to think, well, wait a minute, what card does he have set as the trigger card? And it gets me thinking, maybe I play that trap card as a bluff. Maybe there is no trap card. Maybe I'm playing that as a way to say, I'm just going to try to get them to alter their strategy. Usually this would be the way they would go. They're going to play the defend card. They're going to play the sweep card. They're going to play this. But if I play the trap card, that might alter their strategy. That might make them think, which is what I want them to do. That's the other side of that. It's a very, jiu-jitsu it's a pretty psychological game as well. It's a chess match. So I like the idea of it being out because that way I can't just randomly, oh, I set a trap for you. I've got to have something that says this is what triggers the trap and this is what it is, as opposed to random. I don't know yet. I have to see if the balance of the deck is right. So, but anyway, we are on player one's turn. So we're going to put player two's cards away. We're back to player one. So player one has 4 cards. I can hold a maximum of 5 now. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trade in my point again. I'm going to buy another stripe. I am going to draw, so hang on, hoop. Buy 1 stripe. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Okay. Where's in your, let's see. So now I'm in guard. I need to get out of the guard. I have nothing to do to get me out of the guard. So I'm going to have to use another exhaustion point. That'll get me to side control. Yeah, that's White. That's kind of what. Yeah, that's my thought on that. Just to the ultimate. Yeah, the goal. I want it to be like I want it to think strategically. What is the other guy going to be doing? I'm starting now that we're 4 rounds in. I'm wondering, do I have enough? I don't think I have enough of the pass cards. I think there needs to be more because I'm not now. Again, they could all be stacked up. I've got a deck of the deck itself is almost 80 cards. So I'm wondering if I can take out some of the. I don't know because I think the defend ones are coming up enough. I think the sweep ones we haven't really had a chance to play them yet. So I'm just wondering, do I need to add more of the pass cards so that way because I'm getting here and it doesn't feel like I'm able to advance beyond the guard. I want to start moving to other positions here. So, but anyway, so I'm going to have to expend an exhaustion point. That's almost going to be like a wild card, and that's going to then allow me to move to side control. And then from side control, I can then attack with the armbar or the Americana. So I am going to play the Americana, I feel. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to blow off another exhaustion point here. So now I'll spend 2 levels. If I get to the 3rd level, now all my cards are -1 until I recover those points. So we're going to do that. So okay, I did that. I'm back in offensive position of side control. I'm now going to play the Americana card. So that'll be my turn. And we're going to say, okay, exhaust to advance to pass the guard. And then we played Americana. All right, and so we're going to stack these guys up. And the idea is that you could set up 2 traps where I know, so I could set up my trap here, which is going to be triggered when, say, for this, defend, and then I move to the next, the next submission. Then they could already have a trap set up, knowing that that might be what happens. They say, okay, there's a trap. I know if I play the defend card, he's going to play probably the armbar card. So then I play armbar as the trigger, and then my response is this. So you could actually set up like a multi-layered trap on this. We just haven't gotten there yet because I don't think there's enough of the right cards. But anyway, with the cards I have, okay, I can't defend right now. So the first thing I'm going to do, so if I get out of this, I need to get an escape card. So I'm actually going to trade my pass advanced position card in, and then I'm going to draw 3 cards to get to my full, and I get right back with that. See, now they're all showing up, Americana and knee bar. Okay, so I've got nothing to do to defend this submission. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend my 2 points. Or actually, I'm only going to spend, I can only spend, so one thing is you can only advance 1 belt. You can't, once you advance a level, so I can only buy 1 stripe. But I'm a blue belt now. Okay. And because I'm a blue belt, I get my exhaustion point back. Ah, maybe this won't be such a bad hand or a bad hand after all. So if I don't clear this Americana card by the end of my turn, then I would lose, because that means that I don't have the ability to. All right, so because I didn't do anything, all right, they get 2 points there, 2 points. All right, so all right, so we bought 1 stripe. Blue belt. We discard 1, draw 3. And I think what should happen here is that because I advanced a belt, I would actually get 1 more. Ah! Okay. So because I couldn't play it before, I can still play it now. I still don't have an escape position card, though. So that's really guard. And I don't have a sweep. And once again, I forgot. That actually doesn't apply because of my ability card. So never mind. I burned that. See, this is me making a mistake. So only 1 point then. And then Americana, discard a bill. Let's see. All right. So that was kind of stupid on my part. All right. So I don't need to defend the submission, but I'm still inside control. The most I could do. Oh! No, wait a minute. No, it's from side control. Never mind. What I need here is I need the omoplata submission. There's actually a combination here. I really want to see if I can make it work here. So, what will we do? We are just going to... Oh, okay. Defend submission. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to set a trap. That doesn't make any sense, though. So if he plays any submission from side control, I'm going to defend. No, okay, so let's say he's going to try to play... He's going to try to pass in advance. And when he does that, we'll do Americana. So we're going to set a trap there. Okay. But I'm also not going to play anything here because I can't. So we're just going to let that sit. But that means I take a, whatever that's called. Where are my rocks? We get a stall warning. So we stall. So we set trap. Set trap. And then we did stall warning because I didn't play any cards. And I get 0 points this round. All right. So because I didn't play any cards, there's nothing for him to react to. So we're back to player 1 here. We're in round 5. So what do we have here? We've got the 2 escape position cards, armbar. So I don't need to escape this position. So what I'm going to do is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can hold 6 cards. So I'm going to toss one of these, burn that, and I can take 2 more cards here. Defend submission and Americana. Oh man, if I had a Kimura, I could play another combo here. But I don't have that. So what am I going to do? Okay, so I drew cards. So we discard 1, draw 2. And we're going to spend a point here to take another stripe. Here's... Okay, now I'm thinking ahead again. If I play the armbar card, his card immediately tosses that. So I don't want to do that. I'd either have to stack my armbar cards or chain them together. And that's some of it I haven't figured out yet. If that makes sense to you, that I'm going to play which, because it's varied by position. So if I'm in guard, if I have someone in my guard, I can chain armbar, triangle, and I can chain armbar, triangle, and omoplata because the way the position are set up, that as you're defending one, it sets up the next one. If I have you in my side control, I can chain together Americana, armbar, and Kimura because again, the way the setup is, you could play back and forth. So I could potentially chain it. So I got to figure out how to mark that on here. But so let's do that. We're going to chain the armbar and the Americana together because I think that's going to be a good combo. That way you have to defend one, but the other one gets triggered, right? So we're going to do that. And that will be the turn there. So we're going to do that. All right. Now, haha, I played the armbar card. That triggers this trap. Now the trap is triggered. Actually, I'm going to make a note of that. We drew 1, and then we did armbar, Americana, triggered trap. So because of that, the Americana, so he knows, okay, armbar gets thrown out, boom, but we have the Americana left. But the Americana is what triggers this. Oh, excuse me, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. That wasn't my trigger. The trigger was passing and advancing position. He didn't do that, right? So yeah, you know what, White? You might be right on that, where it counts as like a level. Yeah, so that way I have to burn fewer defend cards. So that way, like if it's white belt, then yeah, it just negates it. But if it's white belt, blue belt, I've got 2 points in Americana and 2 points in armbar. I'd have to blow through 4 defense cards in order to do that. That's something to think about. Yeah, I'll have to think about how that might work. Okay. So, but at the moment, for the moment, player 1 did not trigger the trap. I'm going to take that off. But so I played both of them knowing that, okay, armbar gets discarded due to his ability, the way it's set up at the moment. So that, and then now he has to defend that. So, but now there's, wait a minute. Oh, but because we're both blue belts, I can play 1 defend because blue belt's 2. So I play the defend card, Americana. Boom. That's going to get rid of that. And I still get a point though, because I didn't lose the position. I'm thinking about the points now, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. Okay. Americana, 1 point, defend. And now we're here. So I've got 1 point. I'm going to spend a point on getting a stripe. Back down to 0 here. I need to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Oh, look at that. So, oh, but I'm in defense. Shit. So, I've got 3 pass and advanced position cards, but I'm in defense. So that's not going to do me a lick of good. I've got the arm bar, the triangle, and the knee bar. I can't play the knee bar until I'm a purple belt. So next round I'll probably, actually in future rounds, I should have done this sooner. I'd probably discard that. So really I've got the arm bar and the triangle. So what I would need to do is I need to escape to guard and then play these guys. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to use an exhaustion point. So we're going to do exhaustion point to guard. And now I'm going to play the armbar and the triangle choke card. So that'll be that turn, because now I have them in my guard. So now I got a chance to respond here. All right, I've got to defend. So here, because I've got, oh no, we're the same level. Oh, I got to spend both my defense submission cards though, but I can negate that. I've got 2 defense submission cards. We're both blue belts, so boom. Now, if I were a white belt, these 2 cards would only be at 1 point. That would negate one of them. I'd still have to worry about the other one. So, but in this case, we're both blue belts. We're both adults. So that does that. But because we're now in guard, offense, I get my point for that. Give me my points, ref. Make sure you can still, I know this has been sliding around. Let me make sure you can still see everything. Okay. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a point. Grab a stripe. Okay. Now I'm going to go to draw my 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So I've got sweeps. I can't use the sweeps right now. And actually, I'm going to retro this because I'm going to trade these two in. I'm going to pretend like I tossed them at the beginning. And of course, I draw. Oh, there's the other back card. Ah, that's where it went. Pass, advanced position. Okay. Something I'm thinking about now is that these pass cards need to maybe do more than just offense or defense. I think these guys need to be combined. Pass, advance, and sweep need to be the same card, I think. So it'd be more likely for them to turn up because they're all essentially part of the same action. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to start, and the next time I play this, I'm going to have to, we're just going to add sweep to the pass cards, and we'll get rid of the sweep cards as individuals. Okay, so, but now I'm in guard. I need to, oh, but I do need to pass, so I can play the, or do I want to, if I pass, see, I've only got one. Let me do this. Oh, this got burned because it didn't get used by the end of the turn. Once you change positions, it doesn't. I keep on forgetting that. All right, so I'm going to pass, but I'm going to set up a trap first. The trigger is going to be escape position. Stick this over here. That'll be the trigger. And the response is going to be the Kimura. And I am just going to pass the guard. And that puts me into side control. Now, I'm asking myself, is there a way for me to defend that? I'm thinking at equal level, no. As a white belt against a blue belt, I would have to play 2 of these. But blue belt versus blue belt, we'll just say that you can pass the guard. So, all right, we're going to do that. I'm going to pass and advance. I'm going to get my 2 points. Get my points, ref. Cards go away. This gets discarded. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I am going to start by chucking all of these cards. I can't use any of them right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to draw 6. 1, 2, 3, damn it. 4, 5, 6. All right. Pass and advanced position is going to do nothing for me right now. So I'm left with this. I can't escape the position. Oh, this is ugly. This one I can't even use yet. I got to be a purple belt. And I'm not in a position to play any of this. However, I like this because this is a trifecta move. If I could get the arm bar and get into side control, I can play a wicked combination. So I think I'm going to spend a point. Wait, I just completely lost track of everything I was doing. Crap. So this was draw cards. defend. No, I drew cards. I set the trap. And what did I do? I passed guard. All right. I scored 2 points off of that. Now, what am I doing? I bought 1 stripe. And I discard 4. Okay, discard 4, draw 6. So, and then I'm gonna use an exhaustion level to get back to guard. Yeah, I've got to work on this because we've been playing in guard and side control, and we haven't had the opportunity to really advance beyond that. So that's definitely something I'm not liking about it. Nope. Turn it around. Guard offense. Exhaustion point to guard. All right, but because I didn't play any cards, even though I would have scored a point, I get nailed for stalling again, right? So I would have had a point, but they took the point away for stalling that round. And then I'll clear the stalls. Okay. So that was that turn. And I got 0 points for that. Okay, now we're back to player 1. Now, because I got back to the top of my turn and the trap cards were not triggered because the escape position wasn't played, these cards, the trap is now done. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a point. I'm going to get another belt here. I'm going to move up to purple belt. So we're going to spend point. No, hang on. Buy point. Buy stripe. Purple belt. All right, now that means I can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need one more card here. All right. So let's see here. We got another pass advance. Okay, that's good though, because that means I can pass. I don't need a defending the submissions. Ankle lock. I can actually play. Oh, that's right. I do get an exhaustion point back. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Oh, ankle lock city. I know what we're going to do, but I need to be in the guard or side control to do that. Oh, this might be the match right here. We might be ending it. So I'm at purple belt. So here's the thing. I can pass now. Right? Hang on. Draw cards. Hang on. No. All right. So so if I'm gonna pass the card, I'm gonna pass the guard. He's not gonna be able to stop me because I've got 3 points against his 2 points. So, or 3 points. I got to figure out how that's gonna work. So I'm gonna pass the guard. In fact, just to be safe, if there's ever a way, I might be able to stack them, but we're not gonna do that. So I'm gonna do that, and then you know what? I am stacking these guys. Pass, and then stacking my ankle locks. So now he's got to basically defend it twice. So we're going to pass guard, ankle lock times 2. So because we passed the guard, side control. But we never really got out of that. We just went back and forth between guard and side control. So that's definitely something I don't like about this. I think there needs to be more. I got to get those pass and sweep cards together. I could stack the pass and say the first advance is going to be to. Oh, that's what I could do. So if I play more than one at a time, first one gets me to the next for each position. This is where that map's going to come in handy. So I definitely need to get that map done. But anyway, so we're going to stop at side control. I'm going to play these 2 ankle locks, and I'm going to end my turn there because I don't know if player 2 is going to be able to do anything here. So not as a reflex, no. And I'm even thinking about getting rid of that reflex because I think as long as the submission lasts the entire turn, so I might be able to get rid of that reflex. So minus response cards. So I have to draw. So because I only get, he's got 6 points. And right now my defense would be 2 points. I have to have 3 defense cards. So in this case, I'm in survival mode. We're tossing these, all 4 cards. Because I didn't have anything. So hang on. So this is, how many did I play? I got to think about these point systems here. So 3, 6. That's not fair. No. I got to put different point values on this. Maybe it's only just 1 point per card. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do that. 1 point. Every card will be 1 point. Rather than making them worth the level, because that would be, in one turn you could have 20 points, and then that's, you don't need to worry about points the rest of the game. So at any rate, I've got to draw 6 here. 1. Just do it this 1. Nope. 2. Nope. 3. Nope. 4. Nope. Uh-oh. 5. Oh my God, the cards aren't shuffled. 6. So I've got no defense cards. There's nothing I can do against those ankle locks. Didn't even need to be stacked, right? So we're going to say got 3 points off of that. No, 1, 2, 3, 4 points off of that. And then we did discard all, draw 6, tap, because that's the game. There's no way for me to escape that submission right now. Winner is player 1. Ending the game at 4:23 p.m. Eastern. Now the total time for this game, I'm just putting this in all my notes right now. We started at 3:07, so about 70 minutes. 3:07 is 3. That's 60, 78, no. 76 minutes. Now that's also with me talking lost by technical shuffling issues. Yes, that's pretty much it. That's obviously a bad shuffle. But, I mean, that is entirely possible with a random deck that you could draw 3 escape positions all at once. So, yeah, I'm happy that went 7 rounds. There's definitely some things that have been identified here. So, at any rate, so we got this squared away. We already found the back card. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, White. That it's not going to be a 70-minute game. And all in all, I imagine this is uh, probably about a 45-minute, 50-minute game. Maybe even be faster. Actually, it might even only if without all the talking, if it's flowing, without trying to figure out the rules, it might actually go like 20 minutes, half hour, which I think would be ideal for this. I like the idea that you could sit down because for a two-player game, the downside of a two-player game is that if you're tied up like for an hour with your friend, well, that or 2 hours playing a game, you know, yeah, both players are proficient, yeah. It could be a little bit longer, but I think that's the right amount of time for a two-player game. If you've got a five-player game, I don't mind that going longer because as long as the turns are moving. Um, if you're just sitting there and each turn takes 5 minutes, then it's not fun. Um, so yeah, I think I like that. So what I've identified so far, okay, is I do need to add the type of submission to the card, specifically in response to that one. Um, this and I like the idea that you had there, White, of maybe having it be worth a certain number of points. So that way it's just not every single time. It just makes defending it that much easier. Right now, this is a pretty overpowered card at every level. To be fair, it didn't matter what belt you wore with the actual Ninja Mike. Brown belts couldn't make this guy tap out to shoulder locks. But for the game, that might be a little too overpowered. Same thing with the Dirty Frank. I think that needs to be. I think a lot of them need to be set the same way. We're going to get rid of the response card round, I think. Allow more points to be scored because you're really only playing 3-4 points per round. That might actually change the game too of how fast you're advancing. But the submission has to last until the end of the next player's turn. If they're unable to get out of it like this, that's what's going to be the new end game. I got to add the stalling to the game mat. I think we need to get rid of the sweep cards, add more of the pass cards, and have more of them in there because we never got them stacked up. And I'm just kind of curious now. These are the rest of the cards. Sweep. I want to see if there's a whole bunch of advanced position cards because the idea is that we never really got beyond that side control. And I don't know that I like that. The idea is that I wanted to go into, here's all the omoplata cards, so they're all sitting together. We never saw any of them throughout the game. So part of this was a shuffle issue. But it looks like all the pass cards, but they weren't coming out at the right time. I'd had pass or I'd have sweep and I didn't need them. So we need to combine the pass and the sweep cards into one. So we're going to combine the sweep and advance cards. I thought about that. I don't about having two separate decks. I did think about that. I don't know how I feel. I think that was actually one of the original ways I envisioned the game, was that you had your own deck. So I could just as easily take the deck that's there, divide it in half, and each person gets their own. That's definitely an option. But in the end, I really think combining that sweep and advancing card, because it seems like I never had the card when I needed it. So if this is shared, yeah, this is a shared deck, not a built deck. Yeah. I thought about that, building the deck. I'll be the first one to admit I have never played Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, any of those games. I have the feeling I will start playing Pokemon as my nephew has apparently just gotten into it, and now my brother is playing this as well. And apparently my nephew kicks my brother's butt whenever they play. So I have a feeling that I'll be starting to play Pokemon pretty soon. I know I'm really late to the game on that, but I don't know enough about that mechanic to know how I feel about that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that could potentially happen. But the big part was not being able to advance the position. So I think I really got to tweak that mechanic. I like the idea of having the mat in the middle, and maybe whoever's on offense there, I don't know, somehow mark that out. So that way it's a little bit clearer for how you got to get there and how many cards you need to play to get there. So that might be um, buys cards in their hand. You start with the base deck, the same on both sides, like Dominion. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. It's very similar to Star Realms, um, where you start off with the same number of attack and the same number of commerce points, basically, and then you've got the pool in the middle that you're buying. I did think about that, and there was two things that there's two reasons why I did not initially choose to do that. Again, as this moves forward, this was playtest alpha 0.01, so there's definitely the possibility that a lot of this is going to change. But there's two reasons why I didn't want to go with that particular build. One was that I like the idea of the other player not knowing what I have in my hand. That way they really don't know what my strategy is going to be. They don't know that I drew the electric chair card and that could be coming up, so they're just completely unprepared for it when I play it. So that was the first thing that I liked, was that you kind of have the almost the prisoner's dilemma when it comes to that. Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, and this is where I'm trying to figure this part out. But the other reason why I didn't want to do that is because I absolutely rage quit Star Realms. I was playing it on my phone, and the and this goes to what you were saying with the randomness. The randomness of that deck annoyed the living shit out of me, where I was unable, it seemed like, even when I had built an ideal deck, just the way that the cards were drawn, it would be the one round that I needed certain cards and I would come up blank, and that would be when the other player had the amazing draw. Or it would be that it would be all crap cards, so I would buy one card, and like an amazing card would come up, and the opponent would immediately have all the coin, all the commerce, all the currency they needed to buy that card, and then and the card would come up would be another crap card, and I'd be stuck every time in that pool having nothing but crap cards, and was unable to build the deck. And if it were a 50-50 proposition where it happened to me and then it happened to the other guy, I would say, okay, there's that makes sense. That's just going to happen. That's just the draw of the card. But it happens so often to me that this might just be me. I don't know. I'm convinced there's something with the coding that they have in that game that was causing some issues there. But no, I understand. Yeah, I want to make sure the balance. I feel like at 7 rounds, that went pretty well. I'm happy that it went 7 rounds. That nobody got to black belt right away. I would like to have moved beyond playing just between side control and mount. That's our side control and guard. I want to get into the other positions. So I think, yeah, that might be it. That might be it. So I gotta play around with this a little bit more. But this was just, like I said, alpha test 1, just to see if the basic gameplay works. If all I have to do is tweak the deck, then yeah, if all I have to do is tweak the decks to do that, that'd be fine. But it seems like the basic gameplay is, at its core, is going to work. So now it's just, can I start iterating this? So, and then I'll have to also play with other ability cards in there as well to see how they. Yeah, exactly. Like I have. Right before I think you tune in, White, I have these two here, the De La Hivagard. And then I realized I put this in there, but there are no moves that I've got tied specifically to De La Hivagard. So does it make sense to have? No. So I just took them out. If I'm thinking long term, I think the ultimate goal would be, okay, so you have your core deck. This is like the core game. But then you could buy, or you could get expansion decks where it builds on the leg lock game, it builds on the choke game, it builds on all the different types of submissions. Like, so for right now I have choke. Well, in jiu-jitsu, there's, God, hundreds of different chokes you can do. I mean, there's a dozen that I can think of right now that are just going to come directly off of one position. Then you change position, then off all new. So I think there's the opportunity to really expand it later. But then you have to have enough of the other cards so that way there's enough defense in there. So that's what I want to play around with as well. So maybe next time I'm going to play, when I do this test again, I am going to try combining these sweep cards and see with the advancing cards and see how that goes. And yeah, I'm going to tweak the deck a little bit for the next one, and then we'll see how that plays, and we'll go from there. But White, Ray, thank you very much for tuning in, for checking it out, and I really hope I can have something together in time for Unplugged. So if you're heading out to Unplugged this year here in Philly, hopefully I'll have something that people can actually play. So, but thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll be at it tomorrow at 4 p.m. 23 and a half hours from now. We'll be playing Team X, tackling Episode 3, Darkness on the Edge of Town, Part 2. So, hey, yeah, thanks, man. All right, and if anyone watches this on VOD, feel free to tweet at us and send some notes. Let me know what you